Hello, wicked friends, and welcome back to another episode of my Halloween DIYs. In today's video, I'm going to be making a tiered stand using these little stackable pumpkins that come from the Dollar Tree. There's 3 of them that come together for $1.25, and 2 molds or Bundt pans. I think they're Bundt pans. I found them at Goodwill bins. They're aluminum pans. They're a nice size, but they are going to work perfect for this project. All right, so before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Subscribe, turn on that little notifications bell, and make sure it is set to all so you receive all of our notifications. All right, so let's get started. So I am going to be using some folk art home decor wax in the color Antique 6445, and I'm also going to be using a little foam brush, and we're going to wax up or antique these pumpkins with this wax. Now this stuff does dry fairly quickly, so I'm just going to brush it on or rub it on with my sponge, and I'm just basically trying to get rid of that shiny plastic look that the plastic pumpkins have. I want these to look older, more vintage looking, kind of like the vintage pumpkins or vintage jack-o'-lanterns do from the mid-century. So I'm just going to basically cover the entire pumpkin with this wax, and then I'm going to let them dry. So I'm also adding some of the wax to the aluminum Bundt pans just to kind of distress them up and take away the shine, kind of like I did on the pumpkins. This wax works really good on pretty much any surface to distress it. So yeah, I'm just going to go over the part of the Bundt pans that are going to be seen. I'm not going to do the inside though, because I am going to be putting things on the inside. So I'm just going to do the outside and the bottoms of these Bundt pans and just rub this wax over the shiny aluminum and make them look almost rusted and like weathered, like they've been out in the weather for a while. So while I let my Bundt pan and pumpkins dry from the wax, I printed out these vintage Halloween jack-o'-lantern faces just on some plain copy paper. I want it to be very lightweight because I'm going to be decoupaging these faces onto the pumpkins. So I'm cutting these out with just some scissors. I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut them and get them ready to decoupage on the pumpkins. So now I'm going to use my archival ink in, I think it's ground espresso, to distress these little paper pumpkin cutouts. And I'm just going to go all around the edges with this distress ink. I want these to look very rustic and very worn. I want them to blend in with kind of the aging that we did on the pumpkins. So I'm just going to literally just go over the entire image with this ink, especially around the edges. I want to get rid of all that bright white color. And I'm going to go over the eyes and everything with the ink just to make sure that these are really distressed up nicely. Next, I'm going to be taking my Mod Podge and a little brush, and we're literally going to be attaching these to the pumpkins. I'm just going to brush a good coat of the Mod Podge on the back of each one of the paper pumpkins, just so that it has a good adhesive so that it will stick to the wax which has dried on the pumpkin. So again, giving it a good coat of that Mod Podge as like a glue. And then we'll stick it right on the front of our pumpkin, and we're going to kind of push that down as best as we can into the cracks and creases of the pumpkin, and then basically what I'm going to do after is take large amounts of Mod Podge and go over the top and Mod Podge that paper right down on top of the pumpkin. So I want to add some glitter to these pumpkins. So I'm just using some school glue and I'm going to outline the face of each one of my pumpkins with the school glue, and then I'm going to gold glitter just a little outline all around the entire face. So now they have a really cool glittered outline all around the face of all three of the pumpkins, which just gives it a little bit more of that vintage vibe. All right, so now we're going to be hot gluing these pumpkins down into the Bundt pans. I'm just using hot glue. I'm going to use a good amount of it because I want it to at least stay for the season. I know hot glue isn't always the best choice for gluing to metal. If you want this to be more permanent, you could use like an E6000 and your hot glue. But for now, I'm just using the hot glue because if I want to take this apart next year and use it for something else, I definitely can. So again, I'm just hot gluing the large one down over the center portion of one of my Bundt pans, and then I'm going to glue my medium pumpkin right onto my largest pumpkin, kind of layer them up a little bit like you see. I think they're supposed to be layered like this. I think that they were built to be layered up. But then on top of the second pumpkin, let me move my camera back here a little so you can see it. On top of the second pumpkin, we're going to put our next Bundt pan, and it will be our next layer to our tiered tray like this. So I'm going to hot glue that right on, and again, I'm trying to adjust my camera so that you guys can see. So that's a little bit better. Like I said, I'm just using a generous amount of hot glue to hold this all together, and then we'll set that second Bundt pan right on top. This is so cute already. Just hold it in place just until it sets a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and put some hot glue on our smallest pumpkin, and we'll glue that right to the very top of the Bundt pan ring, just like that. So it creates kind of like a topper to this two-tiered tray. This is super cute, very easy to do, and a good upcycle of vintage items and Dollar Tree items combined. I'm going to do a little bit more decorating. I'm taking this orange and black polka dot ribbon, and I'm just going to line the bottom outside of my Bundt pan with this ribbon just to give it a little bit more color. I'm just going to take my hot glue, and just every 6 inches or so, I'm going to put a little strip of hot glue just to hold that down, and I will go all the way around the Bundt pan with this ribbon. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my hot glue and put a strip of this orange tinsel. It's the miniature orange tinsel. And we're going to go just around the top rim of the top Bundt pan. Again, this is just giving it a little bit more color. All right, so here it is, this little upcycled vintage Bundt pan DIY turned into a little two-tiered drink or coffee stand, or vintage drink coffee stand for Halloween. I think it turned out really cute. There's our little vintage jack-o'-lantern faces down there with some napkins and some tea and some other little goodies. And then up top we have some cups and all kinds of little bits and bobs for decorating. I also put in my little DIY clothespin witches in here, which is what I wanted to use this for. I wanted to kind of scatter them in here. You could fill this stand up with just about anything. You could actually turn it into a snack tray where you could put like cookies or something all around the bottom and then drink stuff around the top. Or you could do a s'mores where you could do like all of your s'mores supplies in here. You could even use the little aluminum tarts and put those inside and fill those up as well. So lots of different ideas for using this little two-tiered tray, upcycled two-tiered stand. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, turn on that little notifications bell, and make sure it is set to all so you receive all of my notifications. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day and stick around for more DIYs to come.